Okay, it looked to me that this short film was a compilation of sorts of a bunch of other films, to try to kind of further portray the message that Giovanna was relating to. I think it was pretty interesting seeing like the different qualities of films and seeing maybe like a trajectory of the culture in Rio. Um, I At first it was hard for me to kind of grasp how the music and the footage were relating because some of them were like kind of a little worrisome, like people carrying big guns or pointing guns and things like that, and then cute family videos. And then I thought about it a little more and read the description again. And I guess to me, maybe they were trying to personify that music, that soundtrack, as that undying spirit that is Rio and the people in that community. And that despite what social inequalities may be going on that they mentioned in this description, despite what may be going on in the political arena or poverty, there is that spirit and that joy and that happiness that persists through this marvelous city. So I thought that was kind of a like a heartwarming thing to see, despite some of the more sensitive images that were shown in the video.
Almost like I oh, who is talking? Should I talk? Okay. I like this one. This might be my favorite one so far because of all the juxtaposition. Like what I got from the music is, if you're not from a place like Brazil or Rio, there is a perception, and the perception is like there's dancing all the time. Like the music is samba, which is native to that place, and it's upbeat, it's high energy. But the reality of what's going on is that there are so many people there that are disenfranchised. So I just think it was just like layers and layers and layers of juxtaposition, which I really, really enjoyed. And to your point, it is a found footage film, which I love when people do found footage films. So there's so many things about it that I like because there's so much juxtaposition, there's so much texture. I loved hearing the voices at the very beginning. And I love the way that they use the music to almost trick you, right? Like it disarms you in a way that it's just like, oh, this is fun. I found myself dancing. I was like, yes, come on, I'm shimmying, and then you're seeing all of these horrific images that a lot of us are familiar with. We're familiar with that here in Chicago. So I think it does a really good job of disarming you, tricking you, making you feel comfortable, and then like hammering away this message in a way that's palatable for us, um, but still keeps you engaged. So I think that this one is very, very, very impressive.
I like to make a comment too about the music. Like, despite it being samba and having a really happy beat, like what it's saying in that samba, it's saying "Rio pra não chorar," which means like Rio, besides being just a river, it also means laugh. So it's saying I'm laughing not to cry. So it really does make sense
Oh, I love that.
in that music.
This, um, wow, hold on. I really, I mean, I'm with B. This is by far my favorite. I found footage, mixed media, all of that. I think that it is very contemporary art. I could see this literally showing at the MCA. I could see this. This is very like author Jaffa kind of putting together all of this footage that, if you look at it single, like these single pieces of, um, you know, videos and things, they don't seem to go together, but it's woven in a way. I talked about pacing with the last video. The pacing here, the rhythm, it's perfect. I mean, the rhythm is very intentional. You could see that there was a video where there's boys like dancing and they literally move their leg to the beat. These are the little tiny details that make this uh, like a standout piece. It makes it very intentional. I see the message. I understand the director. I feel like I know more about Rio. It's like the film was literally, I mean, the title's a little on the nose, but that's fine. It is literally the embodiment of beauty and chaos, which, I mean, essentially it's just reflective of our human experience. I mean, I love that it's rooted in Rio, but I think that you don't even have to be from Rio to understand or feel um, this reflection of, the beauty and chaos that's on 47th Street. I mean, that is, that's life. So for me, this was beautiful. I think production wise, there were definitely like some changes in terms of like the type of found footage. I don't mind it being like low def, like VHS recorder found footage. I actually sometimes think it adds a little bit of texture and realness to films like this.
Can I just interject briefly to say that since I know this film because it was made in my classroom and I know Giovanna, some of that footage is of her as a child. So that's a historical relationship. She's actually presenting her home videos. That's her as a child in some of the shots. Just a note.
I love that. I mean, that's even better. That just made it from a 10 to a 20. Adding yourself as a part of the work. I mean, filmmaking in general is already, there's a lot of vulnerability, and you put yourself in a film. You put your thoughts, everything into a film. To put also, get in front of the camera also shows a vulnerability that just, draws me to this even more. Thank you for that input.
I'd like to also add that, I mean, second everything that everyone has said so far. It's what's super interesting, what I really appreciated about this film also was in addition to what we already said, is actually that transition moment from the very soft kind of guitar and man singing into a very kind of energetic samba music. I thought that was very successful. And then just the general kind of, I mean, yeah, the description and the title is right on the money. Kind of depicting the city of Rio as kind of like a paradoxical entity of families having a lot of fun and joy. They're splashing water, having fun, to brutality and kind of struggle on the streets. And I completely agree with what Bridget had said earlier. It's like, you don't have to be from Rio to now have a glimpse and understand kind of the situation of what it's like to be in Rio. And I thought to be able to fit that into a 4-minute clip is very impressive. So kudos.
I agree that this gives us a very honest and complete portrait of a city that we feel that we come to know. If I ever found a city, it's not going to be called Jonathanville. I think I'll name it Beauty and Chaos instead. And so when you make a city film about that city, you'll just call it Beauty and Chaos, and everyone will know what city you're talking about, which could be any city, because that's how we think of cities, in a sense, as places that where we can encounter beauty, but where chaos is around any corner. So I think that, that's quite apt for Giovanna's film. This is a film that I really regret that I will not score, because I have to recuse myself. But I, again, reinforce everything that the jury has said so far. I think it might also help, to speak Portuguese, I don't. But I understand some of what's being said. It's marvelous city is the beginning. It says marvelous city. And then it shows us that the marvels of the city are not one direction or the other, but it's a totality of directions. And I think you get some of the suffering and the exuberance and the everyday realities. And this is all stuff that's been said. But I think that what is most commendable is how it's packaged, that somehow it's compressed into this brief period of time, which allows a scope which is quite remarkable. And yeah, typically we get the travelogue view of a city, we get its highlights, we get its monuments, we get the cliches, the icons, but this has those things as well as everything that offsets them. So I think that that's why it's most honest, is because it produces a fully dimensional portrait of the city.